if you ever going to do the doctorate, make sure that you do something that you really love.
We're starting from scratch every time with the first note. What do I want to do with this all?
Just sleep less.
What do I not want to do?
Remaining sane, not sure.
Hi everyone, today I am delighted to present to you a very special guest who I'm truly enjoying having in my studio. This is a person who I cannot really present you with one word because this is a musician, a violinist, a brilliant violinist, also a writer, a poet, a filmmaker, a festival organizer. I mean, you name it, she's all of this. The wonderful Nuné Melikian, today here with me from New York City, and I'm so delighted to have this talk, and thank you for your questions, by the way, that you have sent. We are going to discuss some of those, and make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and hit the bell. Hi, Nuné, and
Hi.
Thank you so much for your time for this talk. I'm so delighted to discuss some of the intricacies of being an artist in the 21st century with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Of course. First of all, congratulations with your upcoming book launch.
Thank you.
Nuné is flying directly today to Armenia from Austria to release her new book. So this is the freshest news that also we're going to discuss today. And we have also recently recorded a project with French sonatas for piano and the violin. So Nuné, tell us a little bit about your book, first of all, because this is now the cooking, the most exciting thing.
Well, this is, as a doctorate student yourself, you know what it is. This is the result of my doctorate studies as well as my passion. So I remember when somebody told me, if you ever going to do the doctorate, make sure that you do something that you really love. And I got fortunate enough that I had a subject and a topic I really loved. It's the Armenian music, the Armenian classical music. That's not that well known and scarcely known and rarely played. So I've done my doctorate in Armenian music, and I concentrated on this particular composer whose name is Arno Babadjanian. And it's a hard name to pronounce, but he was going by Baba Ganoush, actually. Like some people in
That's even harder.
at McGill, they were like, we're just gonna call him Baba Ganoush. No, but with all respect, his name is Arno Babadjanian, and so this book is actually a result of my, dissertation, but also my own reflections on the Soviet time, because he was living during the Soviet time while being an Armenian composer, the intricacies of that paradigm, the time, the era that he was living in. The thesis is about his role in the Soviet music landscape, what could have gone differently, and of course my own recollections and my connection to Babadjanian's music, my performance practice of his music. So I'm truly honored that this book is coming to light. I wrote it in less than a month, believe it or not.
No
but
way.
It took me
It's hard to believe.
I was working like 24/7. I was literally sitting at my desk for like 11 hours a day, because I was extremely passionate about it. But it took me almost 3 years to publish it. So this is finally coming, and I'm so nervous but also extremely excited.
That is so wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And as you have understood, Nuné has graduated McGill University in Montreal with her Doctor of Musical Arts degree. And that was a very important, a great tip that you have given. If you are planning to enter a doctorate program, make sure it's something you can do for years, something that you really love. Also, let's talk about the first question from the audience. Connected to that, but it's more precise. It's about the time management, because we have so many things that we love and we want to do. So how do you manage your time? How to balance practice time, recording videos, teaching, etc. Also dissertation writing process for those in the doctorate programs right now. That would be super helpful, including myself. Do you have any tips or secrets about how to manage all of that and still remain sane?
Remaining sane, not sure. It always comes with a price. I feel like
Artists are all a little insane.
yeah. No, I feel like, if you'd asked me that a little earlier, I'd say that just sleep less. Like, I remember I was at the master class, and the student was like 16 years old, and she's like, how do you manage like preparing for the, university enrollment and like practicing? And I just looked at her and I was like, just sleep less. And she was just laughing. I was in Mexico. And I feel like at some point during your like, developing years as a musician, there should be definitely some sacrifices in terms of like you just should push through certain things. And with the years, I actually learned that you don't have to necessarily manage everything. Like managing the time is sometimes letting certain things go and really prioritizing what needs to be done, like as of yesterday. So I feel like letting the control a little bit go and letting things take their own time and course, and especially this book and a lot of projects in my life, I just realized that every project, unless we're talking about a deadline, but every project has its own timing. So oftentimes we want to push through certain things, but we need to actually make sure that we let those things unfold in a more natural manner. So I think my time management right now is, if I have a deadline, I'm making sure that I'm of course on point. I'm making sure that I'm prioritizing actually my well-being, my health, my sleep.
Now, yes.
Now,
At
yes.
some point, you
At some point,
reprioritize.
Reprioritize your health, your mental health. And we were just like recently speaking about the physical health. I have to make sure that I'm taking care of my body because our body is our main instrument. Whether you're a pianist, a cellist, a viola player,
Not just for singers.
not singers as well. Yeah, everybody. This is our instrument, and when I'm managing my time, I'm looking at the prioritizing my tasks and letting certain things that I thought were very important go a little bit on a slower pace. And honestly, that just helped me tremendously to manage my time. I don't know if I responded to your question, but that would be
I think you did. Yeah, thank you. I would probably just add that if you have diligently put the time and maybe prioritize the quality and the growth and the skills during the earlier years,
Absolutely.
then you can sort of rely on that background,
Absolutely.
as you said, to maybe let go of
Certain
the
things.
control a little bit, because we love being control freaks, perfectionists and everything, but then we only have gotten 24 hours a day, all of us. And then if you have enough of that background, you can let go of the control. If not, if you're not to the point during the earlier years, of course, it's still not gonna work probably during the later years at some point. So like while you're building your professional base, it's very important to put everything into your craft. However, I think later that would allow you to let go a little bit.
I think when you're a teenager, I just want to add, like, I work with a lot of teenagers right now. The kids are super talented. They're getting into the, universities and like colleges and music institutions. And I feel like when we talk about time management, it almost feels always stressful. I feel like when we were teenagers and, in our developing stages as musicians, we were always stressed. So even in my teaching practice, I'm really trying to emphasize that, yes, you need to be concentrated, you need to be organized, but letting that stress go just a little bit and telling yourself, I'm gonna manage, it's still gonna happen, it's still gonna get done, lets this extra pressure go. And it has been proven that when we're in stress, our brain is actually working less effective. So when we're in a more calmer state, we can do the same task, but if we are in a stressed state, we're not going to be able to accomplish it. Whether if we are in a more calm and tranquil state, we will accomplish that within minutes. So that's a fact that's scientifically proven. So letting that stress go is a big part of the time management now.
That requires a lot of emotional intelligence, of course. So I would say
That's true.
concentrate on your emotional growth, or rather growth in understanding your emotional state and acknowledging the feelings, the emotions, letting them pass through without trying to push them away. And then all of that hidden background would definitely affect you. So that's very important in order to manage the stress and then the time, respectively.
So interestingly, right? Like we're talking about the time management, but we also went to the
Stress
emotional,
management,
emotional balance, and stress management, and
because it's so connected.
it's so interconnected.
For artists especially, and for performing artists who perform live on stage, it's something unique. Because yes, for visual artists, it's very similar, but they work probably mostly on their own in the studio, and then they present the product that is ready to
Finished
go.
work.
Yeah. And for us, we sort of still don't know. We don't have a guarantee in a way when we're coming out on stage. We still have to live all of that through.
I've
No
never thought of
matter,
that.
yeah,
That's
no
a
matter
really
how
good
many
thought.
thousands of hours we practice, we
Yeah.
still start from zero. We are starting from scratch every time with the first note.
That's true.
Yeah. Another question we are going to talk about is how to be original and unique as an artist in the 21st century. So, what would you say about that?
I think when it comes to originality, Oscar Wilde comes to help. The English writer. He say that just be yourself because other roles are taken. So
Just
it's
wanted
like,
to say that same quote.
it's like there's really, I know it sounds maybe too simple, but it's actually not, because there's literally no two similar people, no two similar artists. Even though we are in an era of globalization and unification, and we are maybe more united in certain ways than ever. But I feel that like tapping into your background, originality, your family traditions and values, your personal trauma, your accomplishments, your origins, your parcours, as French would say, would be the best way to stand out, simply because you are truly unique. Every single person is unique, and I feel like being yourself, genuine to yourself, to your core values, would be the shortest way to stand out. I did not necessarily ever felt like I need to stand out or I need to do something to stand out. I felt just like I really want to be, and I think it's the same with you. I just want to be myself and not copycat anybody. That's definitely one thing I've never done. I've never stolen any ideas. I've never even used of course I get inspired, but I've never used anybody's ideas to develop them and feed mine. I always try to find my own path without necessarily even searching for it, just by living it and by eventually putting that into my work. Interestingly, again, like I don't want to get back to the book so many times, but with the book, for example, it has never been done before. It's the first book about this composer.
No way.
In English language. No.
Wow.
There has nothing has been written about him comprehensively in English language. When I was writing my dissertation about him, when I was, playing his music in the middle of nowhere in Canada, in the most isolated villages in the Caribbean, I was not thinking, oh my God, I just want to be different. I just thought, I really love this composer. I want to share his music with as many people as possible. And come to think of that, I just realized that 30 something years later, after his death, nothing has been written about him in English. So in a way, I stand out without necessarily wanting to stand out, just because I was following my passion. So I feel like just if you're true to yourself, to what you truly love, if you share, passion for jazz, or like maybe you like, I don't know, reggae music, and you want to, interpret something with the classical hint on it, it can be something very interesting. So I feel like just staying true to yourself.
Definitely. I would add, it's a small practice, or rather a question that I started asking myself from a certain point, probably after I graduated or when I was finishing my first master's. I realized that I was following a path many people followed before. I was a pianist from the age of 3, and
That's early. You started early. Oh my God, I started
my
at
parents
6.
are professional pianists.
Oh my God,
I mean, I had a choice, but in a way I had no choice, because
You were doomed.
I wanted to do it, and I made my mom teach me.
Oh,
I
wow.
actually asked her to show me
At
things. 3 and a half or so.
Goodness.
And since then, I was always following the same path that people around me would follow,
The
like
standard path,
my classmates, my fellow
Generation.
fellow students at my school, practicing a lot, playing concerts, competing, playing exams, competing, practicing, like this routine. And then when I was around 23, I believe, I sat down and I asked myself, what do I want to do with this all? What would my path be? I wanted to compete so badly at that point, and I did. But it's like the means. It's not the end goal, because you are doing that for what? And then I really was doing that every day. I was asking myself what I'm doing this for. What do I want? Where do I want to go with this? So I think that's very important. It's not that you should be unique or not unique or anything. You should be what you are, who you are, but you should discover that.
It takes time. I was going to say, it just takes time.
And I guess it's an endless rediscovery throughout life, because these things can change. And I still keep doing that every day. I'm like, what do I want with this? Because I can do many things, you can do many things. We cannot do it all in one life, and we don't need to, because maybe we're not going to enjoy some of the things, you still can do as an artist. But maybe you don't want to, maybe you don't need it. Where is that going to take you? So that's very, very important to sort of re-ground yourself every day, every time, being like, okay, stop. Where is this going?
And I feel like you should not be afraid to be mistaken and to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You should not be perfect immediately. And my pet peeve only would be not doing anything artificially. Like, I don't know, if you're in your punk era, be in your punk era. Some teenagers are. Like if you're in a gothic, like if you want to be a god, be a god. But I think it always transcribes into playing if we see that something you're doing is because of the, I don't know, agenda, or because it's in the fashion. It's it's right now, it's the
trend.
It's the trend. Yeah. Like being trendy will only last for a certain very short period of time, whereas if you really find who you are, again, it's gonna take time probably, but it's gonna last for a very, very long time. So don't be afraid to experiment. Just be genuine, and whatever comes from you, this period may be different from different, time of your life. Just don't be afraid to experiment.
These things change. And also another thing, sometimes if I'm stuck myself, I think I flip the concept upside down. What do I not want to do? Who am
that's
I
a very
not?
good one.
Like, if I'm not sure, okay, let's figure out. If I don't know for sure where I'm going or where do I want to go, I'm like, okay, let me write a list of all the things that I'm surely not gonna do, even if I can, but I don't want to. And that's gonna help you narrow down your choices to then unleash something and find the path you would follow or you would try, and then you would see if that's for you or not. A question from me now, because we both share several languages, different languages.
4 common languages?
At least, so please talk about your experience being an artist, living in many countries, exploring various cultures, learning languages, because that's something quite unique, and we probably don't think about it. We have similar backgrounds in a way. We both moved quite a few times. Changed continents, changed countries, learn languages. How does this help you in your artistic life?
Well, I just mentioned that, like speaking English and like coming from a different background definitely helps, because you can really expand the audience. So I think I'm naturally very curious as a person, and I have a curious mind. So for me, coming to the country, even as a tourist, when I come to another country and I don't speak the language, I'm like, like I'm really curious, because I know that the language is the fastest way to appreciate and to know another culture. So I feel like traveling in different places, my first need was to make sure that I am adapted into the society. So of course English is the first language you sort of learn, though my first foreign language was German. And then coming to Montreal, I had to learn French very quickly. I learned it in 2.5 months because it was like a time crunch. But I know some people who would come to Montreal and not be curious enough to learn French. And to me, it's just not even in my, in my world, because I first of all love French language, and also I want to make sure that I appreciate the society I live in, and I'm trying my best to not blend in, but to respect the country I'm living in. So I feel like as an artist, if you speak the language, first of all, you can really broaden your audience. You can have a more impactful career in terms of you can teach better, you can explain certain things better, you can communicate better, even though music is the universal language, we all know that. But I feel like communication is just such an important part of our lives as artists, and overall nowadays communication is very important. So just having this many languages in your arsenal is simply simplifying your life and career, and can make your path, artistic creations more long lasting and more impactful.
That's super important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would help reconnect with the audience. And to summarize our talk, then I would say be true to yourself, explore what would you like to pursue or not, learn languages, and
Practice.
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 Cool.
Always practice.
And discover yourself, explore your emotional world, because that's definitely going to help you shape yourself up as an artist and as a human being. Thank you so much,
Thank
Nuné,
you.
for being with me today.
Pleasure.
Check out Nuné's videos. She's a brilliant violinist, and get her book. And also check out our videos as a duo. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit the like button if you enjoyed our talk. Hit the bell to not miss any upcoming videos. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye!